They actually did it! AMD officially announced their next-gen X3D chips, along with lower prices, and I've got wild info on performance. But before I get to that, AMD released even more chips, and the first RTX 5090 gets spotted. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, AMD's actually doing it. I don't even really know what to say about this. This one is wild at this point. It seems like some people are almost getting tired of, well, new releases for their AM4 platform. That's right, as you can see right here, we have some new ones, but before I get to that, I've just got to say, apparently AMD has over 145 CPUs on the AM4 platform. And honestly, I really do applaud them for this. I know a lot of them are sort of rehashes of older CPUs, and I can somewhat get the frustration with that, but keep in mind that each time they release one of these, they likely aren't able to completely wipe their hands of the platform, at least for a little bit longer, because obviously if they just release a new CPU, they can't turn around and then say, okay, it's not at all supported. Either way, as you can see right here, it says various sources indicate that AMD is preparing even more CPUs for their AM4 platform. As you can see, this was originally leaked by Momomo_US on Twitter, well, now called X, but later it was found that ASUS actually listed these on their website as well. And as you can see, we're looking at a Ryzen 5 5600 XT and a Ryzen 5 5600T. When it comes to specs, you can see that the 5600 XT comes with a base clock of 3.8 GHz, which is around 100 MHz higher than the regular 5600X, as well as a 65-watt TDP. Then the 5600T also comes with a 65-watt TDP, but with a 3.5 GHz base clock. Not only that, but these are based on Vermeer, so obviously they aren't going to break any records or anything like that, but if you're looking for a likely reasonably priced AM4 processor, definitely check these out when they're released. And next up for today, this one is huge. We get our first look at NVIDIA's next-gen RTX 5090, at least according to this. As you can see, this is a video originally released on Bilibili, and it states, Hong Kong Parkson starts trial production of the 5090 graphics card. So let's first go ahead and look at this video. So obviously they're setting up a GPU, and he goes to power it on. And if you've ever built a PC, you know the anxiety here. And we have it. And then it even starts booting into Windows. There it is right there. Everyone applauds. They are happy. And as you can see right here, according to the person who originally uploaded this, it says, due to the US's chip export control on China, graphics card chips with performance equal to or higher than the 4090 are prohibited from being exported to mainland China. In order to avoid the impact of this move on the launch of the 5090, this company urgently built a factory in Indonesia, and the video shows the debugging of the factory production line. And apparently this company is actually Zotac from what I've seen based on articles about this, and it definitely does look like a Zotac GPU, and obviously you can see it is pretty large. Unfortunately, this is, of course, a very pixelated video. I think it's only like 480p or something. Either way, it's clear that NVIDIA's RTX 5090, if this is correct, is definitely gearing up for release, potentially this year, though basically all rumors point to early next year, but regardless, not too far off. Let's just hope I don't have to sell my car to afford one. And next up, before I get to the 9000 X3D chips, AMD, obviously this is just a few days before Intel's next-gen chips release, so they did this intentionally, of course, but you can see that they're offering an early holiday promotion. This starts October 20th, so it's basically already started as of now. And according to this, the 9950X is now getting up to $50 off. The 9900X gets up to $30 off. The 9700X up to $30 off. And then the 9600X, once again, up to $30 off. This, of course, as always, like I've said 100 times, is why competition is incredibly important. And speaking of competition, AMD is about to bring it with their next Gen X3D chips. As you can see right here, this is from a VP within AMD, and he shared this on Twitter. It says, "Legends are written by those who dare to be bold. Hello, next Gen X3D." And you can see this, and don't worry, there's actually more information beyond this little teaser right here, but you can see, okay, it's preparing it. It's just going to be a logo. Okay, X3D, AMD Ryzen 9000 series X3D reimagined. And speaking of reimagining, don't forget that not too long ago, AMD themselves actually stated regarding next-gen X3D that they are, quote, working actively on really cool differentiators. And as a part of those, which I'll get to in just a second, but before I get to all of that, I just want to say, here is the big announcement that they're teasing today. As you can see, they've officially announced, yes, pretty much all the leaks were correct yet again, that the next-gen Ryzen X3D series is arriving November 7th. And once again, they're clearly releasing this to kind of basically tell everyone who's looking at potentially purchasing the Core Ultra 200S series to hold off just a few days. Don't wait. You don't have to wait too long, but at least a few days, we're releasing something new as well. And that something is looking very impressive. First up, we have this one right here from Gigabyte, which I will say they have taken this article down since all of this came out. I don't believe they fully intended to fully announce the 9000 X3D series within this, and I think that's why they ultimately took it down. Either way, within this kind of press release, you can see right here, it says it's a press release that was published, reveals Gigabyte's new technology called X3D Turbo Mode, available on AMD's latest X870, X870E motherboards, as well as existing 600 series boards. This mode is designed for Ryzen 7000 X3D and Ryzen 9000 processors. As you can see, they state that it seems someone at Gigabyte was cautious not to mention X3D here, except right after that, they do in fact mention it. And this is the wild one right here. You can see it gets with performance increases of up to 35% for the incoming Ryzen 9000 X3D processors. And yes, you heard that right. We're talking up to 35% more performance from just a motherboard BIOS feature. I mean, this one is wild. And not only that, they're also promising 20% for the Ryzen 9000 non-X3D processors. So I'm not really sure what they're able to pull off here. I mean, this is a little worrisome given what all happened with Intel's 13th and 14th gen CPUs, but as long as it doesn't destroy the processors, this could be very interesting. And the news doesn't stop there, because we also have from WCCF Tech, you can see the Ryzen 7 9800X3D V-Cache CPU actually hits DDR5 8800 memory speed. As you can see right down here, says, coming to the details, the 3D V-Cache CPU was tested with a pair of G.Skill Trident Z5 memory modules rated for DDR5 8000, and they were able to get it to 8000, but then they were able to overclock it even further, getting it all the way up to 8800. And the leaks don't even stop there, because we actually have newly leaked benchmarks specifically from Cinebench. And this one here is really wild. Check this out. So originally they had said that this had a turbo clock of 5.2 gigahertz, but it's now actually being able to get clock speeds between 5.6 and 5.7 gigahertz. As you can see right here, this is the benchmark, and at least according to this, the 9800 X3D, using only Precision Boost Overdrive as well as an offset, as well as slightly higher base clocks, was able to get some pretty wild performance. But hold on really quick, you'll actually see that the CPU clock is recorded at 5,643 megahertz in CPU-Z, with an effective frequency of 5,687.53 megahertz. And when it comes to the actual performance itself, you can see in this Cinebench score The multi-core score got 25,258 and the single core score got 2,261. Yet, when we look at the 9700X, even with Precision Boost Overdrive on, it beats it not only in multi-threading, which I'll get to in just a second, but we've actually seen that in the past, but here it also beats it in single-threaded score. Then when we move to multi-threading, you can see even with Precision Boost Overdrive on, yes, it even beats it here. Meaning this bad boy is set to be potentially the ultimate all-around CPU. Well, not necessarily. The 9950 X3D would likely ultimately end up being that, but it's not going to lose any kind of performance versus, at least according to this, versus the regular non-X3D chips. So it ultimately ends up being a fantastic all-around CPU. So while that does it for today, are you pumped for AMD's next-gen X3D chips, or are you more looking towards Intel? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And as always, have a great day.